This Meditainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor Metaventure. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
The Whine and Cheese show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
G'day and thanks for listening to or watching the Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show. I'm BEN68 here with my co-host Morecheese for episode number 80, recording on Friday the 14th of April for Cheese, which is Saturday the 15th for me.
Ben's back, baby! Thank God. Anyways, we talked a whole bunch of amazing Upland stuff, so you're going to want to watch for that. And then we caught up with Ben and found out all of the cool stuff that he did on his holiday.
Oh yeah, I'm back and as whiny as ever, so get yourselves ready to get back into our regular super shitty style of the latest episode of
The worst show ever.
Whine and Cheese. Time for Whine and Cheese. Whine and Cheese. Time for Whine and Cheese.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts. One's from Australia, one's from the Bronx. Talking about the Metaverse and NFTs. Interviewing all the real crypto G's.
Hello and welcome to Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show. This is episode 80. We have Ben back.
I'm back.
Good. And is back. Woohoo! We have a lot to talk about. My phone is making static. We have a lot to talk about today. So much Upland stuff, amazing stuff. They recently had an AMA. They had Q2 roadmap, so much. Ben, how was your vacation? How was your trip?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, it seems like what was I away for 3 and a bit weeks, and just the amount of stuff that Upland's released in that time's just been out of control. What did I say for the your podcast? If they're going this crazy before Genesis week, well, holy crap, what's coming for Genesis week?
I know. Yes. And they were like, let's wait till Ben goes away. And then they're like, put it out, hurry up.
It's always the way. As soon as we get done recording the UDU podcast, there's always some announcement straight after. So just the way it works out. But yeah, I have been kind of keeping up to date with things, but not with any sort of deep engagement. Like I've bought a few things that have been in the sales, but I don't really know what they are. Yeah, I've read a few headlines. But yeah, as far as diving deep into anything, of course, I was sidetracked with other things. And I should mention, after 26 hours of travel yesterday, if you hear any background noise, it's my washing machine going flat out trying to catch up with all the holiday washing. So apologies if you hear some weird noises, like probably right now. No, maybe it was all good. I changed the suppression features.
Oh man, I was gonna go like
Cheese was getting into it before.
Yeah, it sounded like the ocean. It was like
yeah. So as far as the trip goes, yeah, it was awesome, as you can imagine. Haven't had a holiday in nearly 9 years, so that was cool.
I'm gonna pick your brain about that later on after the Upland stuff, because you sent D-Tech and I pictures throughout your thing. You guys went so many places, so we just have to. I really want to go through that, and I'm sure the viewers at home want to know like how your vacation was. So we'll talk more on that after we discuss some Upland-ish.
Sounds good to me.
You ready for all the stuff you missed?
Well, get me up to speed. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. All right, let's start with. Why does that always come down there? Boop. All right, so we have first in line, Q2 roadmap, Upland update. So they're changing the way they do things now. They're doing an AMA right after the update. They did one. It was all right. It was all right. I love you, Upland, but it was just all right. But the roadmap update was great. There's one thing in here that caught my eye. I don't
Yeah.
want to skip. It's right here in this section right here. But yeah, let's just go skip to it because what to expect in Q2.
Yep.
So they go, this quarter, we're aiming to double down on onboarding improvements while we ramp up our efforts around several programs to expand their capabilities and scale. Among these improvements, Ben, is a brand new mission system.
Yes. Yeah.
That to me, I'm like, all right, people want something to do. You go in, you look forward to something, you have to complete something, yada yada. This sounds amazing. So this brand new mission system that will guide players to Uplander during the earliest days of their journey. You can also expect to see several updates to racing and will enable players with the ability to directly influence the outcome of their race. So that right there tells you you're going to be able to start upgrading your Block Explorer racers, right?
Well, that first sentence, where does it say here? Among these improvements is a brand new mission system that will guide players to Uplander.
So that's
So this
for
is,
new players only.
well, at this stage, I imagine
At
that
this
will be
stage.
part of a system. So it's going to be things like, okay, send yourself to another player's property. Ding,
Yes.
and you might get some kind of mini UpX reward, but at the very least, it'll be some mission icon that gets filled in, and maybe if you complete all of the missions, then you get a certain prize. Most mobile games do some kind of mission-based system like that. So,
And it's good because
and
it tells you what to do.
yep, it might be join the Discord, and you got to press the button, and you'll get that. It'll be
That's good.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. There's always those things. Follow us on YouTube. Mint your first property, buy a secondary property, or there's 1,000 different ways they can do that.
That's true. That's true. I was a little excited. I thought it was for everybody. I guess I missed that.
I imagine it will come, definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great. Because I came into this game as a mobile gamer, and I'm all about that side of things. So when I think about the games that I mostly play on mobile, like the Super Stickman Golf series and that sort of thing, it's all little missions. Like for that, you had to. There was really hard trick shots that you had to do it with a power up, do it without a power up, and sometimes I'd spend days and days, and we'd be talking in the community. Okay, I think I found a way to do it like this, and it inspired heaps and heaps of engagement. Obviously, this game's a little bit different, where it's not so much a team-based game, but you still bandy ideas back and forth. It might be find a great deal on the latest property. It might also be that there's different levels of missions for Uplander, director, executive, chief executive. There may be a whole swathe of things like that kind of gamification. That's something we've been begging for since shit, not long after I started. So anything that they can do in regards to that will be awesome.
Agree, definitely agree. And then what about this? What are your thoughts on this?
You can expect to see updates to racing. Can you increase the size on that?
Oh,
my shitty
sorry.
eyes, please.
I know, me too. Sorry.
Yeah. Nice. That's good grandpa size. Yes. That will enable players the ability to directly influence the outcome of their races. Yeah, that does smell like Block Explorer.
Right.
I can't imagine they're going to do like handheld, like I've got my mobile phone, like I'm not going to be turning right and left like some mobile games. I wouldn't think, considering how simplistic the games appears to be, that's quite an advanced system to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's Block Explorer upgrader-ish. I think that's probably what it hints at. But
that'll be great. That'll be great. Like it'll bring more, utility to Block Explorers.
Yep. Even if it's just a simpler way to do it would be a accelerator brake or something like that.
True. On the Metaventure, on the Metaventure side, we will be introducing the first opportunities for players to design their very own vehicles in Upland with carts. Well, what do you think about that?
It
hasn't come out yet.
I mean, we know there's a whole bunch of people in the space that were when it was hinted at the opportunity to create your own vehicles, there's, I believe it's the Detroit Racing League, like they put out a whole series of NFTs related to it. I know Dak was setting up to, he wants to manufacture or whatever stuff related to racing karts. Well, it's at the very least, it's going to be, if you're making karts, well, you're going to have to do something with it. So whether that's a different sort of racing that's coming, I'm not sure. Karts, well, that's BEN68. The number 68 came from my racing number, and I started racing in karts when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, or something. I don't remember. So
Yeah.
No, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
We do know that Slav, we saw on this show, the Whine and Cheese show, Slav showed some of the kart stuff that he was doing. So that would appear, at the very least, to be some kind of crossover potential with what him and TML and that team's doing. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this. They're gonna, here it goes. They're going to improve the speed at which we launch new meta ventures. We aim to introduce new tools that will speed up the application process and allow us to expand each program significantly.
Okay, so here I'm going to have a bit of a whine on behalf of others in regards to this. This doesn't really affect me or us in what we're doing at Samurai Aquatic, except for positively. When the outdoor decor opportunity finally came to fruition, like almost 2 years after I was first accepted into the program, we had been working for almost a year flat out. We'd been working on, at least you and I for a while, we were working on getting all of the designs, the ideas and getting the business structure, the planning. And then when DTech come on board, then it was full speed ahead with the actual design of the items. So once they said, rightio, you can submit your items, we were supremely ready. We submitted a whole bunch of items. They got approved. Some of the other people in the system were not at that level of readiness. So they were kind of caught with their pants down, and they've been playing catch up ever since. Now, there has been some mention of favoritism, because we have so many items available, that there was some sort of favoritism in regards to the submission, approval system. It's just the fact that when the opportunity was presented, we were ready to go. We weren't playing catch up.
I was yelling at Ben, let's start. We need to start this. This was like maybe 6 months even before they said it was open. Like they said they were going to start it. And I was like, let's make it. Let's make Christmas. Let's make Valentine's. Let's make Halloween.
Yes.
So
now,
being prepared.
And we were working with one artist directly, and DTech is meticulous in following the specs and the rules. If he didn't know some information, he was asking numerous questions, like relentlessly. So there was very few models that we submitted that required additional kind of tweaks or improvements or anything like that.
Actually,
there was a few.
All of ours did, but we did it like the same day.
Yeah.
But
once DTech learnt that mistake, or whatever you want to call it, then he didn't repeat that again. So where we weren't dealing with third parties, we weren't employing people from Fiverr, or we weren't trying to juggle 6, 7, 8 different designers and that sort of thing. So that was kind of where our advantage lied. So at present we have vastly more approved items manufacturing, whereas some of the other teams now weren't at that space. Now, on the flip side, like taking it from their view, if some of those teams, some of those guys only have one item available in their shop to approve, is that all on Upland? Is that all Upland's fault? No way. But they have submitted several items that are yet to be approved. So the approval process for us in the outdoor decor beta has been painfully slow. Like, you're talking, what was that, October that kicked off? October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So 6 months, and they still only have one item available. So if you're in that boat, and now you've seen that Upland has now opened up manufacturing, the opportunity for that to everybody else, you're going to be like, what the?
Yeah, I would definitely, like, I didn't know that. I would definitely be a little butthurt if I was in that Discord and I was like, Like, yeah, like you haven't helped me for this amount of time, and now everybody else is coming in now.
Yes, that's one way to look at it, and that's a very valid way to look at it. The other way is, if Upland is going to onboard all of these new factories, all of these new items to be approved, they're going to have to, number one, vastly expand their team that looks after that side of things. And number two, they're going to have to vastly improve or streamline that entire process. So that's going to benefit ourselves and everybody else that's into manufacturing already. It's going to benefit everybody. And there's going to be a lag. Like, what did they say? Like 2 months? What did they say? 6 to 8 weeks or something like that?
Yeah.
Before other places get approved?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then that's before they've submitted their items, they've gone through the approval process. So you're talking, I would think, probably 2 months, 3 months at least before other items start rolling off. I would assume.
This, with the streamlining, maybe it'll be different. I actually talked to someone, I'm not going to name them, but they got word back from Structure Ornament that they were approved.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole process is going to be improved, and that's going to help everybody. Now, we've said all along, like, you've been screaming on the UDU podcast, this show as well. Like, do not wait. If you want to get involved in manufacturing, do not wait for this opportunity to drop to you. You should have been working flat out for the last year, or however long you've been playing this game. If this was something that, if you read it and it interested you, you should have been working flat out. So that when this came, you were ready. Like, if you want to build a large factory, even if it's fully sparked up, staked with spark, it's still going to take like 30 days or something. So, should have already been done. Pretty much. So. But there are numerous opportunities here now. I have seen people on Twitter, I've caught different conversations. Yeah, all this news, but what's in it for me? Well, if you're somebody who's interested in manufacturing, well, you've got structure ornaments opportunities now. You've got outdoor decor now. You've got carts coming on the way. You can no longer say there's no opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's just, oh, I'm not good, I'm not skilled. All right, open a showroom, open a speedway. It's
one excuse after the other.
Now look at this. As wearables become more commonplace, we have up there the Mangera wearable sale. We will be actively exploring pathways for players to create and distribute their own wearables. Now that is so freaking cool, because I really want my avatar to have an MVE UDU Samurai Aquatics t-shirt and walk around with that. That would be amazing.
And that's a good segue too to people who have taken, how do I say this? So we're all about looking ahead. We're not, I do whine about the here and now, but that's always in the perspective of looking very far ahead. I know Tosshead and Shackle, and I should say from the get-go, thank you to, who was it? Blue Rain, Shackle,
Coach Funk.
Jasmine, everybody that helped cover while I was away too. Thank you very much for that. But Shackle and Tosshead, we know they're all about this kind of fashion wearable system, so I'm sure they're going gangbusters getting in preparation for that. Don't if you're in the community and want to get involved in this, don't look at what other people are doing or have done and bemoan, hey, I wasn't given those opportunities, that's not fair. Use that as inspiration to what you can do.
Yeah, agree. I agree.
This whole victim mentality of where, hey, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're just looking at it from the wrong point. Now, you can go on the flip side and say, well, it's not fair that the whole process is so heavily gatekept by Upland. Like, they literally pick who has a metaventure and where. That's definitely a valid concern. Like, I know Midtown Terrace has applied for several metaventures and we've only been approved for one. Whereas there are other neighborhoods that now have 4, 5, 6 metaventures. Some people we know in the community have already got 3 metaventures for their own personal account, and they're applying for a 4th and a 5th. So there's a lot of improvements to be done in that regard. But that's that's out of your control. Focus on what's in your control, what you can do.
Yeah.
So yes,
So-
I'm going to dive into lots of wines with all of this. So bear with me, Cheese. I've haven't been able to run my mouth for 3 weeks. So
So we have the Q1 highlights of the year. So let's do this real fast. January, Uplanders crossed the 10 million milestone in NFT to USD earnings. That's
Yep.
awesome. Buenos Aires opens for business.
Yep.
Creators of Upland compete in the Carnival Ornament Contest. That was
D-Tech.
fun. D-Tech. February, Susan G. Komen begins construction on their Metaverse headquarters. And that's
Yep.
exciting, you know, people coming in, companies like interest in coming in and partnering with Upland is huge.
That was the breast cancer research.
Yes. 3D avatars are introduced for the first time.
Frozen up.
You're breaking up a bit. Oh, and you're lagging.
Yeah, I was
see.
just my internet connection is unstable. Yes, the
You sound
Australian
better
internet
now.
is still shitty. Yes.
Upland celebrates the conclusion of the NFLPA season with the Big Game Challenge. The Mangera Samba School 3D experience, which could have been a little bit better because I couldn't get in there, arrives for the Carnival celebration.
Oh, pause. Yes, it could have been better because there was too much interest. There was too many people interested to be involved. Whereas you look at Decentraland and Sandbox, like many of the things we've covered on this show,
True.
these massive funding things, they do these massive things, and there's 2 people show up. So we had the opposite problem where there
Yes.
was so many people wanting to get involved that they crashed the system.
And our community is so amazing that people were streaming while inside, so you could still experience it even though you couldn't get in.
Yep. That
So
goes
that's a
back to
good
the
point.
the 90s concerts where it was all sold out, but you'd still go to the venue. You could still hear the music or whatever. You hang out in the backstage area in the car.
You're breaking up again. Your face with your mouth open. You look surprised. Poor Ben. Well, there you go.
My laptop is having a stroke. It's not used to this much work. I don't know what's going on.
Treasure hunts receive some critical updates to reward balancing. And now this one, people actually, both non and active treasure hunters liked it. So that was good. Sao Paulo becomes the second city to open in Brazil. Genesis Week 2023 in Las Vegas is announced, and thank you for doing it so early, Upland. I've had more than enough time to plan. Wow. Terminal travel fees are reduced by 35%. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if I want to travel to LA, I don't blink at the whatever the price is, the whatever it was, 2,500 RPX or something, because I'm established enough that I cover that in my dividend fees. But if you're a new player, that kind of stuff just really kind of roadblocked you. So yeah, that was a very welcome addition.
March, the MetaVenture directory arrives to pave the way for the discovery of businesses in Upland. That was amazing right there. That was a huge one. Upland hosts the first ever racing tournament, the Shamrock Showdown. That was great. The beginning.
Racing. Maybe this is a good segue now. This morning, while I was trying to catch up and sleep, they had the very first URL sanctioned racetrack. How did that go?
That was
missed out
great.
on all of that.
Oh, it was amazing because, first of all, they had it live streamed in the URL Discord. Then they had a Twitch open for it. Then you could also go to Elijah's Real Node LA Spatial, and you go to the theater, which was packed. and you watch it from there. So I had all of them open because I wanted to support as much as I could. And I was taking some selfies. Umang was there. I was taking selfies with him. Elijah, of course, was there. So many people were there, and it was great. I can't wait for the next one.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
good.
even know who won. I was so busy socializing.
You often find that with these big races, you go there and who won the race? I don't know, but I had a fucking great
I
time.
had a blast. It was
Yeah.
great. I gotta figure
that.
it out who won, because yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yes.
Sorry, Whine and Cheesers.
Yeah.
Structure ornament manufacturing arrives, allowing players to design ornaments for new Upland seasons. That one
Yes.
is amazing. Embargo for FIFA World Cup spotlights is lifted. I didn't really know what that was about, but I think it was something like they weren't able to show them because they weren't like true partners or something, and now they are.
No, it's usually with any sort of sporting events like that they want to control the first couple of months of who has access to the footage, because they want to promote that themselves, make plenty of money off that themselves. So it would have been part of the licensing deal where, yeah, you can do this, but you can't release it after X date once it passes whatever their threshold was.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
The Explorer Center arrives with a focus on improving the new user experience, which is huge.
I played around a little bit with that, but not much.
How did you like it?
Well, it's hard to look at it as a brand new user. It definitely seems like, well, any improvement to the onboarding system is drastically needed and will be appreciated. So yeah, it's hard for us who are so established in it to see if this is helpful or not, but I can't imagine it's not. Yeah, I can't imagine.
I just want to let the people at home know that Ben does not have a list that hits his microphone.
Again?
Yeah, it just started. I think it just started, but it's not all the time. It's only at certain times. I love it. I freaking love it. It's amazing.
I need a new laptop. What did I blew my new laptop budget? What did I blew it on something? What did I buy? Something gnomes or something stupid.
Gnomes or something stupid.
Jesus.
Q2 development priorities. Now this is good. We'll see what they want to be done. Some of these may be delivered in Q2, while others may come in Q3 or beyond. Onboarding improvements, definitely. Yep. The mission system, let's see, you may have already seen the recent introduction of the Explorer Center, which houses guided tutorials through the use of tooltips, yada, yada. This was the first step in building
infrastructure
for what will become the mission system.
Yep.
Oh, and I think this is you, like initially the mission system will be only focused on getting players started in Upland. New players will be offered a curated set of missions that will educate them about the Upland system, teach them how to actually play the game, and aid them on their journey to Uplander. As the mission system expands, you will see new missions for more advanced players. You're so smart, Ben. Look at that. To give them opportunities.
It seems like we want to keep users engaged. Like we've seen this with the limit on the what was the wording where you could only stack so many dividends, uncollected earnings or something. I think that's a great system. Like people are losing their minds saying, oh, they're trying to scam us, they're trying to take our money. But no, it's just to keep people engaged. So you can imagine this, like now we have a daily login bonus for Spark. Well, you can imagine there's going to be login every day for a month and you tick this mission or something. There's going to be heaps of different ways.
That'd be great. That would be great. And like just a quick thing, because I don't have that tab up. We could definitely talk about it more later, but the what you said to like have a cutoff for dividends, they're not doing that to hinder anybody, but there's players that, you know, they haven't logged in for a year, maybe more
or more.
And that UPX is getting lost. Like they're not going to use it.
I can see both sides. Like that there are people who started this game around the same time as I did in January 2020, who bought their 10, 20 properties or whatever. They got a couple of collection properties and they're like, I'm going to put this down for 5 years and see where it's at. A lot of crypto people do this. Like when I was in the ICO days, I'd buy some ICO stuff, and you're laughing, so I'm obviously listening. That they would buy some coins and just say, I'm just going to set that there as I'm expecting that as a loss. I'll check back in on it in 5 years and see where it's at. Those people would have every right to get their nose out of joint because that's what they signed up for.
There's a crypto game that I play, right? Where you, it's sort of like, oh, I forgot the name of it, but you have to collect certain areas and put your points into certain things. And I haven't touched it for a month. I go back in there, everything is gone. I didn't put any money in it, but they were like, oh, you surpassed a certain amount of time. You would have to, oh, this is something Upland can implement. It said you surpassed a certain amount of time in order to get back like the previous dividends lost. You have to send an email to that. So that would be a good kind of like
transition over.
Transition. Exactly.
Yeah, I've lost thousands of dollars worth of potential on that because I've bought coins like different cryptocurrencies way back in the day, and I've got an email like a year or two, well, that's 2018, so 5 years later, and you think, okay, I'll just go and check on that. But they did a hard fork and they transitioned all the coins over to a different thing, and the cutoff date to do that was a year ago. So that you just got to write that off as a loss. So yeah. You're right. There is people should be used to that kind of system if they come from the crypto space. So yeah, that's fair enough.
And if an email was sent out, then you had plenty of time. Like
that's on you, baby.
It's on you.
Yeah.
So the Upland Guide, alongside the announcement of Explorer Center, we shared the first vision of our new guide, which contains far more details about the Upland system than our previous guide. Our goal with the new guide is to continually update it as we share more. That's important. That's definitely a gimme.
Yes.
Cars. I'm sorry. I'm moving. I am highly caffeinated right now.
Oh, good. And I'm jazzed up as well. So they want to improve the guide. Well, I don't think there wasn't a guide previously. It was just join the Discord. So
basically,
and anything that
came up with one and we just didn't see it.
Yeah. Anything, as I said, anything they can do there to support the onboarding system is going to be greatly beneficial.
Well, here's the guide.
Yeah. So again, this comes back on you, like what you said, like when you first joined Upland, you spent ages researching what you could that was available way back when. So
yeah.
The onus is on you to do your own research, people.
Oh, this is great.
And I know that from my game development days. It was endlessly frustrating to create a game. You put it out for a game jam and you see YouTubers that would cover game jams say, hey, I like this game. The graphics are great, but I don't know how to do the controls. Well, you didn't read the fucking instructions, you dickhead.
Not many people do, Ben.
I know.
Not many people do. See,
and the same
great.
People will complain that they don't know what to do. It's unfair. So yeah.
I didn't know about this. This is amazing. I'm gonna actually spam this whenever I can.
Yeah. So yeah, and anything that improves the onboarding system is definitely awesome.
Ooh, right. Cars. Player agency for racing. Ben, you want to take this?
In its current state, players don't have much of an impact on the outcome of races other than the selection of their vehicle. Over the next several months, we plan to introduce a variety of features that will give players more control over how their cars perform on the racetrack. Players will gain the ability to control the positioning of their cars on the track. Okay, so that's interesting. They say positioning, not direction. So it might be like the old school racing games, like
left and right.
Move left and right, because I know it's been frustrating a couple of times when I've been in races. You get behind someone and your car's constantly bumping them like this, and you're getting nowhere.
Yes.
So even that would be
that would be amazing.
And it says here, so they can make more direct control on turns and corners, the ability to control the speed of the car with braking. There you go. Yep.
Wow.
Lastly,
Yeah, what you
players will be
said.
able to boost their cars during a race. So yeah, you might have a nitro button. You can only use it a certain amount of time. Once it runs out, it's either gone or it takes time to recharge. Yes.
Yeah,
Overall, the
you
goal
look
is
at
to.
you.
Well, it just makes sense. You know, I've
Yeah.
played plenty of racing games. It makes sense to lean into the side of things that everybody already knows about. So.
But sometimes the easiest things that make sense are the ones that go over our heads. I don't know.
However,
I think it's impressive that you've been gone for almost a month and you're like, they're gonna do this and this. However, what? I want to hear.
However,
However,
there's something that's obviously missing from that paragraph.
Uh-oh.
Block Explorer upgrading. There's no mention of Block Explorer upgrading.
Oh, but this is for priorities going forward. I think Block Explorer is what to expect. They better. I think you're right. I think you're right.
That's a glaring omission from that. I don't know. Maybe it's further down. We'll play it by you. I haven't seen this document at all. So yes. Now speaking of racing, I did. Not FOMO's not the right word, but I did go back and secure myself a very sexy blue S1R. So I was very happy to get that deal done. Yeah, there was quite a mission involved in getting that one secured, but yeah, happy to get an S1R. So I will be prepared, ready to race in URL events in the future.
That's amazing. I'm so freaking happy for you.
Yes, so that was cool. That was always a kind of a missed opportunity that I had, like a brainworm eating at me in the back of my skull. So yeah, that
and
was
you
cool
got it for a great price too.
Yes,
you got it for an amazing price. Now look at this. This is big. Like, this is so much stuff I missed, and I wanted to wait. I didn't want to read it until we got on the show together.
Yep.
So this is exciting for me. So cars as transportation.
Now,
yeah,
this is something that, how do I summarize this? Now, Samurai Aquatics from day one has always been about looking forward. Like I purchased all of those properties in Midtown Terrace to store outdoor decor, because that's what was mentioned in the first documentation, was outdoor decor would have to be stored on physical property. Yeah. So all of these knuckleheads that are saying, oh, it's unfair that Midtown Terrace's neighborhood score is being boosted because of all of the outdoor decor. Well, go back and watch
that though. I didn't hear them.
Well, it's out there if you want to check it out.
Man, yeah. I don't think they're saying it. I mean,
you can. It's really? Your mate Bacon if you want to go back and check it out.
No.
No. And all of that. So yeah, that's you. That was the plan from day one. So stick it up your bum, move along. Now, nice. For the same can be said for cars as transportation. Upland has said that any, whatever they want to call it now, map asset, the outdoor decor, structure ornament crates, whatever the hell that's coming, it's going to have to be physically transported. Okay, so again, if you're one of these people that want to get involved in manufacturing and you're not investing some time, money, effort into securing future transportation possibilities, you're just going to set yourself up for disaster. You could have the finest factory in the world that's pumping out hundreds of items, but if you've got no means of moving that to your showroom, you're screwed. And all of these people that have, there are people that are in manufacturing now that have hundreds and hundreds of items on their factory lot. You should be making use of this time now where you can airdrop it for free. Is it a pain in the ass? Hell yeah. I guarantee you there's not a single person in Upland that has moved more items than me. Between outdoor decor and crate, I have spent dozens and dozens of hours moving this shit laboriously. It's so bloody frustrating. But you can do it for free. You're going to have to do it eventually, whether it's one by one, put it on a truck, or hopefully there's a better system where you can select several at once. But that's going to come with a cost. It ain't going to be free, baby. You're going to have to spend Spark. You're going to have to spend UpX. You know, that's going to be a significant cost that you're going to have to you're going to have to eat that cost yourself or pass it on to your customers. If you're not planning ahead for that now, I'm sorry, but you're a dickhead. Don't come back in 6 months, because we've been saying for ages, this kind of transportation system, it's just going to come out the blue. Upland's going to say, okay, transportation mechanics are here, or they're going to, if they want to be friendly, they're going to give us a 1 week heads up, and you're going to have to do it. You're going to have a 1 week leeway period or something like that. If you don't make the most of that, that's on you. If you got no recourse to bitch and complain about, oh, now it costs me all this money, it's going to take ages to move all this shit. Well, yeah, you should have. I'm sorry, you should have done it for free when you had the chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, as part of that, now I was lucky enough to be able the one car that I've been able to meet in every single car sale. I was in Japan. I got up at freaking 1 a.m. or whatever the hell it was. 700 cars on sale. Did I get a chance? No, I got jack shit. As per every other car sale, except for one. I was very lucky to be able to get a semi-trailer. And at the time, I was like, oh, I don't want to buy it because it's the wrong color. And you're like smacking me over the head. Bite you, dickhead.
I was going to fucking go to Australia and beat the shit out of you.
Yes. But over the last 2-3 weeks, I think TB125 mentioned on the last UD podcast, I have been gobbling up. There was one night there in Japan, I stayed up till 2 a.m. I went from bloody San Francisco to Detroit to Queens to LA. I was all over the place. I spent the night going up and gobbling up the floors for all of the cargo vans, all of the pickup trucks. So Samurai Aquatics now has a semi-trailer, 5 pickup trucks, 5 cargo van, plus all of the stuff that you and D-Tech have got as well. So we hope we have plenty of infrastructure there ready to go when those transportation mechanics come through. I told you, I haven't been able to rant and rave for weeks, so I'm getting it all out.
You ranting and raving in the lisp is the best thing I've ever heard in a long fucking time. It's not now. It's very sporadic, and it's always when you get the most angry.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy another headset. Yes, I'm not transitioning into a Maiko after my trip to Japan.
Best show ever. I fucking can't.
So transportation, we know that system's coming, and the same is going to be said for passenger movement, and there's that. That's one thing that's been interesting. Somebody had a passenger cargo van, and they were like, am I going to be able to change this in the future to do... No, somebody had so I said passenger cargo. No, somebody had a passenger van, and they were asking, am I going to be able to change this to a cargo van in the future? No. Why? If you want to transport cargo, buy a freaking cargo van.
You've missed this show, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. This whole show was initiated as an outlet for me to whine and rave. I just dragged you on board.
Because I'm the one you ran and rave to, so you might as well entertain other people with it. That's great. I love it.
And other people have got their S1Es and have asked, can I transport decor in this? Well, technically, yes, there is a capacity, 300 liters capacity for that. Are you seriously going to use an S1 to move crates and decor? That's hilarious.
Don't use the S1s because they're not meant for that. They're gonna get miles put on them. They're gonna get destroyed. You want these to be as pristine as possible. Like Shacklin had a really good idea of not racing her S1R at all. So when others kind of start breaking down and need to be replaced, because I do believe that once the S1R gets completely destroyed, there will be more sales coming out for the S1R to make up for that.
Would it be Yeah, they'd have to do it some other way, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, like another series of it, like a S1,
Yeah.
like a S1R2,
Or
right?
something, yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's gonna have a pristine S1R, not touched, not driven. That's gonna be pretty valuable.
Yes. Yeah. Now, just to wrap up on that segment, can you move house using your Ferrari? Yes, technically you could move house using your Ferrari. Would anyone do that? Does it make any logical sense, logistically, economically? No, it doesn't.
People could still ask these questions, Ben. There's nothing wrong. There's no stupid question.
There is, Cheese. There is.
Ben, we have to be somewhat nice. You know, I ask stupid questions all the time.
Yeah.
We gotta be a little. You don't want to do that, people. You don't want to use your S1s to transport because they're more valuable and they will get damaged in the process. Ben.
Yeah.
Now, on the AMA, they had mentioned something about another thing cars can do as transportation. They said there's going to be areas where you can't get to via a train or a plane.
Oh, I did see this, and somebody leaked a screenshot of something.
They did.
Yeah, it might have been one of those presentations that Dirk did. And one of the slides, it showed there was some mechanic. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I do remember that there was. But again, we know this is coming. Of course, Upland has all of that background stuff, so we know this is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So they say the vision for cars and eventually other vehicles is to simulate their movement across the map, both within and between cities. This will enable players to travel to other cities without having to use transport terminals and will set the stage for additional features like cargo. But what they're not saying is, I have a feeling as soon as cars come out as transportation, there's going to be a meta venture for gas. Because you can't. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like not gas, like electricity, maybe. Like you go there, you plug it in, and it's like one of those Teslas where you have to charge it with the spark, and you have to like. Do you really want to use your it's not going to take away from people going to trains and whatnot. I think it will be nice for me to take my car down to Fresno if I wanted to do some treasure hunting. But if I'm going to the Bronx, I'm taking a plane.
I would never use my car for transportation, other than if it was like you said, a city that can only be accessed via that mechanic.
Well, don't use your S1R for anything other than racing, Ben.
Yeah, no, it'll be.
I have
be put
S2.
on the transporter to move it. Yeah,
an S2. I have
S1E. Yeah,
not the next one from there.
Yeah, you've got an S1E, don't you? The yellow.
Yeah, I have an S1E, but I also
and then
have
an S2R.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have something like that. Like I'll use, or like I have pickup trucks that I could use.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, just before you move on, like again, this is one of those situations we've already seen this with manufacturing. Like people have been wanting the opportunity to get in manufacturing. Upland gives them the opportunity to get in manufacturing, and then they suddenly say, "Oh, but it's not fair. I don't have enough spark." Well, that's on you. You've had all of this chance, Yeah. And this goes with transportation as well. We know transportation mechanics are coming. Upland have said that cars are going to be powered by spark.
Yes.
You're going to have to designate some amount of your spark balance to that process. Like if you're in manufacturing and you think, okay, great, I've got my 5 spark or whatever it is what's a medium factory? No, 10 spark. Yes, I've finally got 10 spark. I can run my medium factory at full capacity. Well, guess what? Now there's transportation mechanics and you have to divert 4 of those spark just to be able to move your thing.
Yeah.
This is all on you. This information has been out there for years in some cases.
Yeah.
So as we always say, plan for the future. Us at the UDU Summer Aquatics, we're always working with the information we have at hand, looking forward 1 year, 2 years in the future, doing what we can with the information we have, but always looking ahead.
That list is what I love it.
Jesus.
Map asset factories and showrooms. Not too long ago, we opened up the beta program for map assets, formerly known as outdoor decor. Now, I love that they changed this, and let me tell you why. So, outdoor decor is very pigeonholed, right? Map asset pertains to anything on the map. Like, you could go indoors, you could go outdoors, you can go.
I'm gonna have a big whine about this, but sorry, continue on.
You could go outdoors, you can go, like, it's not just one thing. They've actually evolved your outdoor decors and made it better. What is
we
your
already had this, Chief. We already thought of this.
Oh, well, I said, what they do watch and they listen. They take, like in the Upland debate, like a month ago, I put in there about the cutoff of UPEX, and people were like, nah, that's not good, and then like a month later they put it. Like, I'm not saying it was because of me, but I'm just saying they do look, they do watch.
Well, maybe you forget, but we had these conversations. Samurai Aquatics was Samurai Aquatics. It was an outdoor decor business. However, I always spoke about wanting to do indoor decor, like indoor fish tanks and this sort of thing, indoor like aquariums.
Now
so that is precisely why we changed our name to Samurai Aquatics and Decor, because that covers outdoor in decor. Well, now they've changed the freaking name to Map Assets, so none of that makes sense. So is it a pain in the ass? No, not really. It doesn't really make a difference.
Map assets. It's just the description of what the meta venture is. Decor is everything, Ben. I think I wouldn't want to change our, like, the Samurai Aquatics and Decor is perfect. In my opinion.
Map asset is the umbrella. Outdoor decor is just one of the features under that umbrella. I don't think they needed to change the name.
I think personally I like it because it allows for more. Samurai Aquatics and Decor can now be indoor and outdoor.
But it already was. That's why we set it up.
Well, we were smart to set it up that way.
Yeah. So what it means is, and we talked about this before we kicked off live, Samurai Aquatics is going to apply for new factories and showrooms in Chicago, Los Angeles. So it'll be Samurai Aquatics, Chicago, Samurai Aquatics, Los Angeles. So we just dropped the decor part off, and that just kind of covers it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But as far as like setting up for indoor, outdoor, yeah, we were already way ahead on that. We thought of that, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I guess map assets makes more sense for the wider Web3 community. That's because I certainly didn't know when outdoor decor was first mentioned. What the hell's outdoor decor? That's not language that we use here in Australia.
So. Same. Yeah. Like, I don't say outdoor decor. I'll say it sounds too fancy for me. But then again, I'm from the Bronx, backyard shit.
Exactly. Normally the outdoor decor is just the indoor decor that's just a bit worn out and you've replaced it. It just kind of transitions to the outdoors, and then once it gets too old for there, it goes to the garbage dump. Yes.
Now, I personally want to see some cool shit coming out of here. Like, I want to see crazy stuff. Like we have the furniture, we have this, we have that. Like, I want to see some really cool, crazy stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to give any ideas because I might use it for myself, but we'll see. Well, I don't want to talk too much about it because I have one that I want to open and I don't want to say anything I'm making.
Well, I can say that some of the other existing decor manufacturers have a wide range of stuff that is caught up in this approval system. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff related to racing, sports. I know Rob and them are working with one of the outdoor decor teams to do a whole range of sports decor and that sort of stuff. So there is a lot of stuff caught up in the approval process.
And then the car seat, the couch that looks like a car.
From Lost, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, that's a crazy idea. I would have never thought of that. That was great.
They got screwed on the scaling though, like whether they didn't check that internally themselves, like we know
Well-
we've mentioned this on the show. When our items were first approved, we're like, hey, you need to pull those back because the scaling's all wrong.
Yeah.
Those seatings, if you put a gnome next to those seatings, it's even too small for the gnome. So it's kind of, the scaling there's a bit weird, but hopefully they'll be able to fix that up in future ones.
Yeah, it still looks cool. It still does look cool.
Yeah.
I like it, for what it is. I still think it's a great idea, and they did a decent job with that. I can't wait to
Yes.
see like the more stuff they come out with.
Yep.
Speedway Metaventures. Now this,
Ugh.
why are you so negative? You don't need, come on. The latest entry to the Metaverse catalog is Speedways, which allows players to design their own custom racetracks in Upland. Application, blah, blah, blah. And it's our goal to deliver the first UGC Speedways over the coming months. Speedways are just one way that we are empowering the community to create their own content. Now, first of all, you can't get mad at this. This is something for the people who are not technologically skillful. This is something that they can take and have of their own. Like me personally, I know you're in the URL and all that.
I'm not mad at this, for one. It's just a few aspects that I'm going to pick at. So keep going.
All right. I think this is perfect. People could put their own spin on it. I will say there's going to be a lot of people who won't be paying the dues, because I feel like people are FOMOing into it. I think that they don't know, like, yeah, it's easy to get into because you don't have to design anything, you don't have to blend or anything, but at the same time, you have to make your speedway exciting. You need to sell it. You need to put
Has to be profitable.
It has to be profitable. Also has to give people something. Like you can't just say, hey, I have a speedway. And
or you're willing
people.
or you're willing to run it at a loss, which most of these will run at a loss for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not sucking on my teeth at this in the regards to what it is. I think it's fantastic to set it up as its own metaventure. I think that's awesome. It empowers, like it says here, it empowers a whole bunch of people to get involved who may not have been wanting to get involved in layer 2 experiences or things like the URL. I think this is fantastic. What I dislike is that the way they put this information out there, like that they showed us the size of the medium speedway structure, but there's no specifics there. Like I demolished an apartment building in Midtown Terrace because you had to apply on an empty lot. Okay, well, I have no way to check that structure will fit on this property. It's going to be close. Personally, I think it's going to be too small by probably fractions of an up squared. But there's no way to check this before you apply. So it's just a massive waste of time. There's all of these people that are going to apply for a Speedway Metaventure, but that structure is not going to fit. So that wastes their time. It wastes Upland's time. Now, that's a medium structure. Obviously, there will be small ones come on board, and you may have to do a smaller track and this, that, and the other thing. But that information needs to be given at the front.
Yeah, I agree with that. It should have had a little more up 2 squares on it. But I know Lizette put out something that you can kind of like compare it to.
Which is what I did. But again, it's not that's where I get to that property in Midtown Terrace is fractions of an up squared. I think it's wide enough to fit the structure. And speaking of the structure looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
It looks really cool.
It does look cool.
That whole mechanics, that whole system, I love it. I love all that. It's just, you need to get the information. If you want to empower the community, please give us the freaking tools to empower ourselves. You know, you're sitting there with a ruler on a freaking screen trying to think, oh yeah, it might work, or trying to count. We know it's about 6 up squares wide and 7 high or something, but there's no way to check it. So everybody's just gambling, and ultimately it's going to waste tons of time, tons of community time, tons of Upland time. So yeah, they need a better system. And I mentioned this, and X1 gave me props about coming up with an overlay testing system, but there's people have mentioned that long before I have. I just raised it again at the right time. So yeah, we need some way within the managed building structure to check if any certain structure will fit on any certain property without having to unstake our spark, without having to demolish buildings,
Yeah.
If that medium structure won't fit in Midtown Terrace on that property, then this is another point too. There are numerous neighborhoods where they don't have the capacity for large properties. So they cannot get involved in this at all. That kind of sucks. So we need...
I think the fact that they mentioned medium, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be more. There's going to be a small one. There's going to be a large one. I think they're going to have one just for the drag racing. I think they're putting this out just as a kind of test, really.
Yeah.
Because remember, I know you hate hearing this all the time, but we're in beta still.
I don't hate it. I always say it. Yeah. I am definitely on the beta stuff.
All of the stuff that they're putting out is a test. Like, this is the first time they're doing this in here. So we have to be patient. We have to give them a little bit of leeway, offer, our insights in a nice, polite way. Could they have done a little better? Sure. But am I angry that they came out with this? No, I love it. I'm glad that they put it out. Yeah, it's a kerfuffle when, like, you put something there and it won't fit. I'm sure if you were approved and they'll give you a chance to find something within your place.
But there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing in Midtown Terrace. That was the one property that would fit.
Well, you did have an idea for a drag strip race.
Yeah, that's if the medium speedway structure won't fit in there, well then it's like I said, it'll miss by fractions. So obviously I'll hold that property and wait for the smaller one, and we may have to reduce the track length. That's fine. There's very few people that have been as patient in this game as I have. So that's fine. It's just, it goes back to the wine of the week I had, which I think you or Shaq read out for me in last week's UDU podcast. These kind of features or these frustrations that we have on the back end, if Upland had some kind of small community group and say, hey, this is what we're looking to do, what are the questions or concerns you might have about this, then some of these things seem very obvious to us. It's all just seems back to front. I mean, It's tricky. I know they can't really give that information out to too many people, because who can they ultimately trust not to run their mouth off and spread DMs and all of the rest of it? So I get that it's a tricky situation.
Yeah. We'll see.
But ultimately, I think it's fantastic. I love it. So.
Yeah, and then, like, here we go, cafes.
Yeah, this was an interesting one.
Yes, I wonder if you'll be able to, like, look outside the window of the cafe and see the cars racing by. I know that's probably ways for, but over the last several months, we have introduced a variety of new features to support the future of immersive spaces, such as the Mangera experience, 3D avatars, and wearables. With these new tools, we'll be working to introduce a new type of metaventure called cafes. These will be player-owned 3D spaces where players can connect and socialize via both text and proximity voice chat.
Now, new type of metaventure, cafe. Yeah. Way back when Midtown Terrace was getting established, there was who was it? There was somebody who wanted to
Scooby.
No, there was the guy that has the teapot avatar. Shit, I forget who it was. Apologies. He bought 2 properties in Midtown Terrace from me to set up as cafes. He's since kind of disengaged from the game or whatever, and I bought those properties back and I put apartments up on there. Now, new type of metaventure, probably going to come with a cafe structure. So again, I'm going to have to demolish an apartment building to try and put up a cafe. Now, do you think, well, maybe I should say what I think. I think this is going to be a new type of structure. Hopefully the footprint isn't bigger than an apartment. Otherwise, I'm going to be winding my head off again. That's going to be another purple dot, surely. This experience is not going to be tied to Upland. It's going to be like what Elijah's done with Spatial. They mentioned it there. 3D, blah, 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 whatever that wording was. Yeah, this is going to be an external thing, I would imagine.
I don't know, but it's exciting. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Yes. So yeah, if the opportunity is up, we'll definitely be putting a cafe up in Midtown Terrace, and of course that opens up the opportunity. Maybe you can stream from there. Maybe you can broadcast there. So maybe the UDU podcast is okay. The option is that you can stream from here, or we don't know. Again, we'll just work with the information as it comes to us. But I would expect at the very least we're going to have a cafe structure.
Yeah. I can't wait to see, like, how are they going to make money? What kind of things they can do? Like, will you be able to sell out, like, non-metaverse things in there? Like, can we make a store with our merchandise, like a cafe where
Cheese
people can
plates.
come in?
Come and have a
No,
some
no.
wine and cheese.
Our t-shirts, our Samurai Aquatics t-shirts, the coffee cups, like you go in there and you're like you could like just stay and talk with people. And then there's also a merchandise thing where you can purchase stuff and real life stuff. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd
Well,
be
all of that
crazy.
functionality is already there with spatial. Like we could have a portal within, like we have within the Real Node LA, we have a portal there to the Samurai Aquatics thing. It's very easy to put a portal there to our merch store. So yeah, how they play with that will be interesting to see. Yep.
Yeah. Cart manufacturing. Wow. Since the arrival of cars, one of the most common questions we get is, when UGC cars? And we've stated in the past that we want to explore ways to make UGC cars a reality. The first of these efforts will be Upland's version of go-karts. See, the first of these efforts. So I think what they're doing is they're just experimenting via MetaVentures. Players will soon be able to design, manufacture, and sell their very own carts, which are a new class of vehicles in Upland that will be only usable for racing. This means they can't be used for things like transportation or ride sharing. However, it also means they'll be a bit more unique.
Yes.
One of our goals is to measure the fidelity and quality of carts that the community can produce before we decide to expand manufacturing to other classes of vehicles.
That's a weird one.
No, it's not. I totally agree with this.
But
they want to see kind of how imaginative the people are. Like they have cars, right? I want, like, if I'm gonna buy a car from a person, I want something crazy cool. Like I want to see what they do with these carts first.
Yeah, well, if you're talking about manufacturing cars, the way that you can manufacture a car is kind of limitless. You can make any sorts of different cars. Now, as you were reading that, I'm thinking, yeah, but kart racing that I used to do, the karts are a very standard, unique shape. It's going to be pretty boring. But as I was talking, I remember I just went to Universal Studios Japan. I went on the Mario Kart ride. So perhaps this is more like a Mario Kart style where, okay, it's not going to be aerodynamic. It's going to be some funky, weird freaking kart thing. So yeah,
yes.
When I first read this, I'm thinking of my personal history in racing karts.
No,
however,
yours is more professional. I think more so it would be like box cars. Like those really awful things you push people down a hill on.
I think it's going to be that more fun, quirky kind of Mario Kart-ish sort of stuff. So yeah, that kind of makes more sense now that we've kind of read that out.
And that's going to be really freaking fun and hilarious to see.
Yes.
Like I want to see people getting really imaginative in that. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Improved scale of MetaVenture applications. Now, this is what I was telling you about before. One of the greatest challenges with MetaVentures is the speed at which we can approve and support them. This process is very manual and requires a considerable amount of resources from the team. In Q2, in Q2, we will be actively working on ways to speed this process up so we can scale MetaVenture programs more efficiently. Now, this will go back to the be careful what you wish for. Yeah, this is great. This is amazing. But let's say you put together a business plan and it's great and you submit it. You're approved like that and you don't even have your inventory. You don't even have anything to submit.
Yes. And then you're going to be competing against other people who are well established
Yeah.
And like you got to think of this as a perspective. I don't think it will happen because most of the San Francisco crew is already established. But if you were a new person wanting to apply for outdoor decor or map asset manufacturing in San Francisco, you're going to be competing against Summer Aquatics and some of these other teams where, you know, our sales figures are pushing, I would imagine, 25, 30 million UPEX worth. So if you're starting from the get-go and you don't have much inventory, you're trying to sell, then you're going to be paying MetaVenture dues against other established people that do have massive plans. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting how that whole economy all balances out. That's not trying to scare anyone away from it. It's just a bit of a reality check there. Yeah, you don't underestimate the time, resources, and probably the UPEX that it's going to take to get yourself established.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So yeah, prepare legits, wearable legits. Wearable legits are a new class of legit that can be placed on your 3D avatars. While Mangera wearables are the first of these efforts, expect to see more of these legits in the coming year. Additionally, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you get a few of those?
I did. I got one that was rare, not the really rare one. I think one 52.
Common and epic, wasn't it, or something? Or
I got this. I got a common, and then I got the next one up from that. It's like a huge balloon like thing. Like they're a little bit crazy, but I could see people dressing up when the season hits. Like, you know, everybody, like we have this the carnival season, right? So people are gonna want to wear, and it's the first wearable. You're gonna want to get the first wearable because it's important. Like years down the line, you're gonna be like,
yeah,
I have the first ever wearable. Can you say that?
That's why I got it. Like there was common, epic, and rare. I would have got a rare had I had the opportunity, but just like every other bloody sales queue, I'm always screwed out of that. So I got up at 1 a.m. with no chance of that. But I think I picked up one rare, one epic, and that's precisely for the reason that you just mentioned.
Yeah,
because
I got the
I
same.
want to be involved. I want to help support and that sort of thing. Will I ever physically put this on my person?
You might.
Maybe if I'm going to be part of next year's Mangera experience. Yeah, sure, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, anyone who's anyone in the Mangera experience will have one of these first wearables on. If not, you know, you're a dweeb.
Yes. And like you said, if you want to get involved in wearables, you should start at least planning the business side of it. Like we've got no idea of what the specs are, the design specs. All of that would be just pure speculation. So don't dive heavily into that because you're going to waste your time. Dive into the background business side of things that you need to do. Have like some itinerary of what you would like to produce, you know, work out your rarities, work out your, you know, how many you're going to produce, you know, have your team structure, get all of that side of things done. Now, how are these going to be delivered? Like we've had crates for structure ornaments. Are these going to be tiny little crates we got to move around? Envelopes? How freaking micro are we going to go with this shit, Cheese?
This has to be inside your house, though. You don't store clothing outside of your house.
You know, so I don't store crates outside my house either. It's a weird one. I would have a warehouse to store them. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
You can't do that in the Bronx, baby.
It gets stolen. Yeah.
Community chat. Community chat updates. The introduction of chat has had an amazing effect on the community engagement and participation.
Has it though?
Well, I think so. Like I'm finally getting DMs from.
Yeah, so am I. But they're like, "Hey, can you trade me your semi trailer for some gnomes?" Like, no, motherfucker, I can't.
Why doesn't anybody DM me with that stuff? One person did. Actually, when I said in the last Whine and Cheese, nobody DMs me. One person's like, "Hey, Cheese, I'm DMing you." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And we had a little conversation, and it was so cute and sweet.
All it gets done for me is just spamming shit office.
Be nice, Ben. So the development, these developments may be blah 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 blah. That's boring. Neighborhood ratings. Oh my god. As the start of this month, we announced that neighborhood ratings have officially arrived. Neighborhoods are now pitted against each other in a month-long competition. Ooh, to see who can generate the highest score for their node. I love the node. Look at the node. The winning node will be awarded with its very own. Oh, I said something funny. And I said something funny. I think it was something like in a cafe. Every time somebody says no, you should get royalties, like 5 cents every time.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
This has got, and obviously this is one of those massive things that come while I was away. I did get involved a bit here and there. Midtown Terrace came out of the gate. We were pretty reasonably placed. They rejigged the numbers and we were very well placed. It has since it's been updated again and we've dropped down a bit. As I said, internally within the UDU, it's all going to jump around. It's going to go up and down. People are going to move stuff over. Other people are going to leave to get part of different nodes. I don't care about any of that crap. We will get our chance at a neighborhood collection. It's just an inevitability. Whether it happens in the first 6 months or the year, it'll happen. There's no rush, no panic. I don't care if we jump up here, there, and everywhere. It doesn't really make a difference at this stage because ultimately there's so much of this that's out of our control. Like I said earlier in the show, we've applied for several MetaVentures, only been approved for one. Other people have applied for several MetaVentures and several have been approved. That's just completely out of our hands. So there's no point getting all butthurt about that. There's nothing we can do. We have done the best job that we can do up to this point with the information that we have had. Can't expect any more from ourselves, the UDU team, anything like that. The only part where it gets a bit greasy is this whole node versus node, like say Midtown Terrace and Bronxdale, your node. Say we both get approved at the same time and we're up against each other for the upgrade. Well, Midtown Terrace is tapped out. We can't build any more structures. It's tapped out. Is that
how it's going to be, though?
For the node versus node part, the secondary thing, not to achieve the collection status.
Oh.
For that upgrade system, you're going to have to beat the whatever nodes you're pitted against. So Bronxdale still has room to bump the percentage up. Like you could do a campaign and get a whole lot of buildings done. Well, there's no way we can compete against that. So that's where it gets a little bit greasy. But yeah, ultimately, as I said, you can only do what you can do. There's no point getting all butthurt about what you can't do. So
you're going down. No, just kidding.
And there will be people in the community that say, like that's all in your head, mate. We don't give a shit about any of that side of things. I don't personally, and I made this mention of this when it first came available. I personally hate this node versus node aspect. I would much rather everybody support each other. Shackleton outlined how, Creedmoor, for example, that team could help another team boost their score. That's possible. That's one way to flip it and make it a community thing. But that is a whole lot don't underestimate the work that's involved in trying to set something like that up and manage that. So
nodes are hard. Nodes are difficult.
Yeah. So we'll just stick to the plan, keep doing what we can do with the information we have. Like I said, it'll get there eventually. And at the end of the day, what is the neighborhood upgrade going to do? It's going to boost 3 properties that you have to 1.2x dividends. And the dividends in most of these places, the mint prices are like 10,000 up. It's going to be 100 UpX a month, 200 UpX a month. Basically, all it is a bit of a flex. That's all it is. So.
Your thing came back. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Quality of life, global access search. Can you read this in your list? Oh my God, please.
Currently, it can be very... Whoa, what the hell happened?
Sorry.
Currently, it can be very challenging to find exactly what you're looking for in Upland. You think? Whether it be a map asset, legit block explorer, or property, there's no easy way to search for those things. It is a giant pain in the ass. Try and do a property swap with somebody, and you've got 6,000 properties. Good luck on mobile. Good luck. Yes. As such, we will be introducing a brand new global asset search feature, which will allow players to find any asset in Upland. Awesome. This is very much needed, very much appreciated. The new asset search will deliver a robust list of results that tell you what the asset is, how many there are, who it's owned by, and even where it's listed. Is that all it's going to do?
It's going to wipe your ass feet too.
What I mean is, if I'm doing, say I want to do a property swap with you, all right, or a burner swap for an outdoor decor or something like that, I can search for my address, but that's one thing for me to be able to search it, but I need to be able to use it. I need to be able to click on it and say, yes, I want to swap this one. Just being able to search for it and show me, oh, okay, here it is. That's ain't gonna help.
Well, we'll see. They might have that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this next one. Woo! Support for Ethereum mainnet. Our vision for the Upland ecosystem is to make it as open as possible. To support this effort, we will be opening up a bridge between the EOS and Ethereum mainnet blockchains. This will allow the transfer of NFTs assets between blockchains, creating greater utility and interoperability for Upland assets. That is freaking amazing.
Yes. Now, this is going to be very important, like going back to indoor decor, like you were saying now. They have to return to the system that we had previously. Like we had this Halloween 2020. You were able to go inside the structure, watch a movie that was, was kind of set inside your building. We need, at the very least for this whole NFT thing, we need some ability to be able to display NFTs within our structures. I hope they don't push this off to a spatial thing where you have to have, you have your home address in Bronxdale, for example. I want to be able to go to your home address in Bronxdale, or even not go there. Click a little arrow that takes me inside your structure, and I can see NFTs that you have displayed. I should be able to click on those and be able to purchase those. It should be linked to your WACT account or something like that. I hope it's not all pushed to spatial.
And you could come in the kitchen. I could give you some coffee and a little bit of cake, and we could gossip about Upland.
Yeah, because I do everything I do on Upland is on mobile. I don't go to laptop or PC. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been involved in many of these other layer 2 projects that are out there, because none of it's mobile. So yeah, they keep talking about mobile first. Well, yeah, I hope this is part of it. But that kind of interoperability with the NFTs, that's going to be awesome. And you would assume this is going to extend to the Flow blockchain and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces stuff. Yes. And hopefully, what's the other one? What's the S one? Solana, hopefully all of that side of things. That's kind of interoperability. That is where we're going to start to see of kind of a mainstream push within the blockchain NFT wider community.
Yeah.
Not the full grandmas and grandpas and aunties and uncles kind of stuff, but yeah. No, I think it's awesome. But people are going to have to be very careful with that system. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself in a whole bunch of trouble there, accidentally burning things, losing things, sent to the wrong address. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Upland works to protect people from themselves.
Yes, I agree. Now, speaking of level 2, third-party developments, API functionality improvements. I have recently been accepted into the Upland developers, and I've actually been working with my husband to create something. It's none of their APIs really help. I'm finding more information on the blockchain, really. Cool. I'm still a little bit shy in there. Like I have to start asking questions, but I think this improving a bit would be a lot better. So we'll see with that. Tournaments. Through our community dev tools, Upland will give developers built-in options to run tournaments for their skill-based games. So, all right, so there's a game out, The Kingdoms, with
Grumbridle. Yeah.
Ron
Now,
Bridle.
get me up to speed with that because I only caught the headline. From what I could read from the headline, it seems very Avalon the Druids-esque. Dare I say that?
No, it's more so like so there's a map, right? And you have to set workers to build things. Depending on where you are in the Upland map, based on their map will determine what kind of resources you can get. It's very challenging right now. It's actually up and you could play it. Me and Uplando were actually playing it and talking. There's no real tutorial, right? It's very kind of, you have to go in and like just click everywhere to see what you're doing. I think Uplando killed all his workers. He has no way of getting them back, but the good thing about it was if you go into Upland, like you go into the game and it'll tell you exactly what to do. You go into Upland, you go into the options and you go to third party and it'll have the thing just like the Mangara and just like Elijah Spatial. You have to like click that and then it'll have all your Upland information, like what kind of assets you have in the game. It needs that in order to see where you are on the map. Currently, they only have Texas, Dallas, and Arlington. And as you know, I only have 4 properties there.
Yep.
So he said that it will be expanding. He's just using that for now as a kind of way to experiment and evolve it. But yeah, it is very much in the beginning stages. So please take that in mind when you go there, that it's not going to be perfectly running game. This has just been announced and it is at its most extremely new, brand spanking new.
Well, I assume it's one of those things where it's a portal from the mobile app that's going to take me external. So it's one of those things where, yeah, it's cool, but I can't see myself getting involved in.
I feel like this is something that can be phone. It's actually very simplistic. Whereas it doesn't, it looks like an actual phone app kind of thing.
Well, hopefully it might work out like the racing where it's a secondary app on the phone that you download. Yeah.
So like check that out. We'll do it more after or some other day, and then we'll update on Tuesday.
Yep.
So that would be cool. This is cool. Tournaments. I'm hoping that they're talking about more than just one. First will mainly be for single player games, but ranked on their individual performance. Top scorers will earn prizes. Second will be bracket style tournament. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. I mean, what?
Well, bracket style tournament, it's going to be at 1 a.m. As with everything, it's going to be 1 freaking a.m., 2 a.m. because.
Well, then make one and make it at US 1 a.m. It'll be what the user makes it. That's the good thing about this.
Okay, because it does say community dev tools. Yeah, cool. All right. I'm just whining ahead of myself. Yep. All good.
Now here's the last thing: miscellaneous developments, uncollected UPX earnings cap. This isn't exactly news, but expect this feature to arrive. I like it.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me one bit. I earn about 62,000 UPX a day, something like that. So the threshold will they have to stagger the threshold per your status. Like you can't expect chief executives to be under the same restrictions as Uplanders. So that's definitely going to be a part of it.
People were having really great ideas. They were saying stuff like give it a week. Like if people don't log in and claim their stuff within a week, it stops.
Yeah,
That way,
seems perfectly
yeah.
reasonable to me.
Like some people even said a month. Like I could even see a month, because if it is what they say it is, a way to prevent UPICs from being lost, then I don't see a month being bad. Like there could be days where you go into a bit of a depression, or you go on a very long vacation, you're not able to come in, or you're just going away. Maybe you're going away for army or something. Like
Yeah.
like I think a month would be ideal. A week would be a good second.
No matter what it is, they have to cater to their outliers that are on each tier. Like, we have chief executives who have just reached chief executive status, who may make, I don't know, they may make 100,000 UPEC a week. But then on the flip side, you've got other people at the extreme end who are making 30 million UPECs a week. So the cutoff has to adhere to your outlier on the other end.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to impact people as heavily as they think.
Yeah.
Like if the uncapped earnings for chief executive is, if you haven't collected 50 million UPEX in the month, then it's going to be stuck there. Well, okay, that's never going to impact on me. I ain't going to get to 50 million a week. So, and yeah, because they can't cut it the other way, because some people's daily UPEX is like an incredible amount.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, they
yeah,
would lose a lot of old. I don't think they want to hurt anybody with this. I hope
No.
not. And a lot of the older players that do make that amount of money, you don't want to alienate them or punish them for putting money into the game.
Exactly.
So I have a feeling that they're gonna be very
lenient.
They better be lenient on
Well, they
this.
have to be. It just makes no sense otherwise. And people saying that's an unfair system, but most, like you said before, most blockchain NFT games, they have, Alien Worlds and all of this, they transition to this system where if you don't collect it within X amount of time, well, you missed out. That's just the way it is, because they want people to be daily active users. It's all about daily active users. Like when Dirk's going off on these tours all around the world, doing these promotions, it might not be part of the front end presentation, but if he has somebody that comes on board and says, hey, I'm looking to be a partner, these mechanics, the daily active users, that is incredibly valuable information. At the moment, we have daily active users. A lot of that, there's a lot of insinuation that a lot of that is pumped up by multi accounts and this, that, and the other thing. So, yeah. I think ultimately it's a great thing, and they will have to cater to their outliers at the extreme end. So I really don't think this is going to impact people as much as they're thinking it will.
No, I agree with you.
And guess what? If you're not active, that's on you.
That's on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to go over some of the other stuff that we didn't get a chance to, just to let people know that Spark Week is here. Sparked Up Treasure Tiers, Spark Sales status. Now, I just want to make things clear. It says April Spark Week officially begins Sunday, April 16th. That is when you register. So do not upgrade on the 16th, upgrade the day after, upgrade on the 17th. So you register on Sunday, April 16th, and then the next day at 9 a.m. we'll actually begin Spark Week.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did we miss there was no March Spark Week? Was there? I forget. I don't remember buying Spark in March.
I don't remember much of anything anymore.
All right. Well, it'd be interesting to see. Oh, sorry. Finish it up.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it'd be interesting to see when you scroll down what the numbers are here, whether they've boosted it to cover if we didn't have a Spark Week last month. Scroll down a bit. You should say how many they got for sale. Keep going. It should.
I think they lowered it.
Here we go. Go back.
Oh.
Back. So 100.05, 51 Spark. Yeah, that seems pretty. They have definitely lowered it, and that seems pretty standard with that. So 0.5. All right. Well, I'll just have to see what USD balance we've got as a team, and we'll be gobbling up as much as we can because,
Yeah.
like I said, if you want to get involved in manufacturing at any capacity, if you want to do some sort of transportation mechanic, you need Spark. You can
Yeah.
bitch and complain that it's unfair, that whatever it is, but the reality is, if you want to do these things, you need Spark. And if you're not willing to put in the hundreds upon hundreds of hours required to treasure hunt Spark, well, then you need to buy it.
I love this. I love it. I love that.
No amount of bitching and complaining is going to change the bare raw fact.
And I just know that this is not going to be a regular thing in the future. So while you can get it, I'm going to try to scrape as much as I can personally.
Yeah.
Exhibit at Genesis Week. I just submitted mine. Now, this is important. I know TML's there. He's going to be doing UPX World. I know Too Stupid's there. He's going to be representing for UPX Podcast. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be representing for MVE, which will showcase the UDU, Summer Aquatics, Whine and Cheese, and whatever falls in the Metaverse Ventures Entertainment. So if you have anything that you want to put forward with an amazing audience while you're in Vegas. Remember, this is going to be in Vegas during Genesis Week. Consider signing up for this. Basically, it's $100 for the booth if you have already purchased your ticket. If you have not, then you must purchase your ticket and this. So it'll be $200. So basically, you're getting a booth with a 6-foot table and cloth. You're going to be getting a custom retractable banner for your booth.
23.5 by 79. What is that? Inches?
Yeah.
80 inches. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. So there must
be
be
like a table worth.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Unique listing on Genesis Week website. Officially a part of the Genesis Week programming. You'll be in the freaking programming.
Yes.
Highlighting
Highlington Genesis Week emails. What the frig does that mean?
Highlight on the Genesis Week emails.
Yes.
Mention on Upland socials and press release mention. These are huge. If you have a brand, if you have something that you want to put forward into the world, this is a good opportunity. Now, here we go. The deadline for submitting is Monday, May 1st, which is just, it's up. You got a good 15 days about 11:59 p.m. There's going to be a limited number of available exhibitor slots. I'm thinking this is going to take place outside of the convention room where people go to get their lunch. Now, I did ask in the Upland channel for, what is it? What was the channel? Genesis Week. I asked, what time will this be going? Could you please let me know what days, and times one would be exhibiting for? X1 got to me really fast, and he said it will be on Friday from lunch onward. So basically, during Genesis Week, we have the Thursday meet and greet at night, and then Friday is the all-day convention thing. So in the morning, we get there pretty early. They have a nice breakfast for you. We watch them talk on the stage and whatnot, and then they take a break for lunch. So people will be. That's when you go and you man your tables, set it up or whatever, and you'll have a couple of hours for that. From what I'm thinking, I talked a little bit with Uplando about this, and then I believe you go back inside afterwards and you watch the rest of it, and then I think there's another time afterwards. I'm not completely certain. I know more information will come out as people are accepted. We really don't know exactly what to expect, so keep that in mind when you're applying, that it's not an exact schedule for it. You may just get a couple of hours.
Well,
one
that
never
was my
knows.
concern when we talked about this before we kicked off the show. Was my
Yeah.
concern was I didn't want you to be stuck, man, in a booth by yourself for days. You want to be able to be involved in all the other stuff.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I asked like how many days and day, like hours. So I don't mind that. Like I definitely want to talk to people more about our projects because we have so many of our projects and we might even have more by the time this opens. So
yeah,
that would
and
be so ideal.
we'll talk together as a team. Like obviously we'll do prizes, giveaways. There'll
Oh
be
yeah.
you're talking
Oh
about
yeah.
getting merch to give out and that sort of stuff too.
Oh
So
yeah. It's gonna be crazy. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of really cool swag from all of the participants in this.
Well, I think you were one of the only people that did that last year, wasn't it? You
Yeah.
put the swag bags together and you're giving away
Yes.
all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I think that's a
did.
good extension on that.
I have good
Yes.
ideas. So let's get rid of that. Let's go Mangara wearables. I know we talked about this. The only reason why I want to bring this back up is because there's still availability. So there's still the commons, which you could purchase for 20K UPX, and then there's the ones for the
The
Fiat,
epics.
the
Yep.
epics for real money. So if you're still interested, oh, my construction is ready. Ha ha ha. I had some leftover spark, so I put up another construction in Bronxdale.
Nice.
So go and get that. Hopefully they're still there when this airs tomorrow because we're in Friday. Master Builders. All right, so I wanted to just touch on this real quick because submission for phase 3 has been pushed forward to Wednesday, April 19th. I said this in the UDU podcast, but sometimes our fans don't follow us there from here and here from there. So you have until April 19th at 11:59 p.m. PT to submit. Then after that, you'll have the resubmissions a few days later in case you messed up.
Yeah, one of the biggest things there is the reward is one spark. The 100,000 UPX, yeah. Well, if you just get involved in the UDU podcast, you can win 100,000 UPX pretty regularly. The one spark is a massive opportunity.
Yes, and even this, like a lot of people collect badges.
Oh, I don't give a
I know you don't, but a lot of people, they are like in love with their badges. So, and
no,
then,
it's good. I think that whole system is great. I do wish. I think I mentioned this in some of the documentation I got you to put out for the UDU podcast. I wish that any building that meets the specification should be available for a limited amount of time. Okay, let's make the sale for whatever it is. Make it the sale is for 1 week or 1 month. Upland can keep track of the sales data. Whoever sells the most in that 1 week, that person is the official winner. Their building stays in there. How much do I have to repeat?
No, it was just for 1 second.
Yeah. So everybody whose design specs are okay, they should be able to sell their products for a limited amount of time. The winner stays in the game as an ongoing thing. The system's already there, and the losers, not technically the losers, but the less of the winners, they had the opportunity to sell their structures for a limited amount of time. Those structures then, or those buildings then become rare because the supply is limited, and they will receive ongoing benefits through the royalty system. That's a way to fairly compensate everybody's time that's involved. It really sucks. I know that DTech cops a lot of flack for this, like, oh, I'm not even going to bother because DTech's just going to win. That's incredibly unfair to DTech, first of all, because that guy, he started 3D from nothing not that long ago, 6-8 months ago. He started from zero knowledge of 3D. So that's unfair to him in the hundreds, if not thousands of hours he's put into learning this and getting involved in all of this.
He's always getting sick because he's not sleeping.
Oh,
he just posted like his temperature right now.
Yeah. Well, we're forever telling him you need to slow down, don't burn out. So that's incredibly unfair to him, but I get it. It's unfair to everybody else as well that have put in some time and effort, and it's got to be demoralizing to constantly, if you put in 100 hours and then yours doesn't even get approved to be even part of the voting process, that's going to be stupidly depressing and frustrating. So that kind of system would be a very good way to reward everybody.
Yeah.
Make everybody's available for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And then like, if it's a limited amount of time, those are gonna like go like freaking hotcakes.
Yeah. That's a good idea, Upland. Knock, knock, knock. Are you there? Knock, knock, knock.
You made me flinch.
Yes. Yes.
That was so good.
So that would be a great way to reward everybody that gets involved.
And just to get on the DTech thing, like he has also made a video to help people, right? And he went out of his comfort zone to do that. Plus, he just helps people in general. Like you ask him a question and like we're trying to teach him how to work with his time a little bit more, because he'll drop everything and just help you.
Yeah, because I've been down that road. I've done that. I've burnt out. So and a lot of people don't keep this in mind too. We are doing this in addition to family commitments, full-time jobs, and this, that, and the other thing. So, I think it's incredibly unfair. Some of the flack he's been getting has been kind of tongue-in-cheek as a kind of a bit of a joke, but that still builds up and weighs on his mind. I know it does, even if he doesn't voice it. It goes back to that thing. Don't bemoan what you can't control. Do your best at what you can control. And at the end of the day, if you've done the very best job that you can possibly do and you still don't get through, yes, that's frustrating, but just be content that those skills that you've learned in that process, it ain't going to be for waste. How many people do we know that are screaming to have a 3D designer? There's so many people that want to get involved in manufacturing that don't have those skills. The amount of work that you put in now to learn those skills, it's going to be rewarded tenfold if you stick to it, if you get involved with other people, so.
And I knew a few 3D designers, and I put on the UDU podcast. I'm like, hey, I could switch it. Like people got to me right away. Those are smart people. So they're all connected. If I put some people on a wait list. So.
Yes, DTech is not the only 3D designer out there who doesn't want to be involved in the business side of that sort of stuff. He just wants to focus on the design. Yeah, there's other people that are exactly like that. And you were kind of like that until I dragged you. Let's do shows. Yeah, come on. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I was exactly. It's like, no.
Yes. And I didn't either at the front of the show. I meant to just give massive thanks to you as well. I know you were kind of pushed out of your comfort zone to take full control of all of this stuff over the last 3.5 weeks or whatever it was. So, thank you for that. Look how far you've come from sliding under the desk when your mere name was mentioned.
I know. That was funny.
Personally, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I think it's easier for me to do a show like this where there's no script and you just kind of like talk whatever is coming out of your mouth, like just bleh. But to follow a script for me, the UDU podcast is no joke with those scripts. Like I even color coordinated them so I don't mess up and go into Shaq stuff.
Normally I don't go that hardcore. It's just loose bullet points, but I know that the more information I gave you was going to make you feel a bit more comfortable and empower you a bit more. But then it becomes a fine line. If you give, there was one time, I think it was the second one there, where I blurted out a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'm thinking, oh, hang on, that's probably too much, and you're just overwhelmed. So it's a fine line between I was
both. Like, oh my god, because it was a UDU anniversary.
Yeah.
So I was like, Shaq, you want to do this? She did. Oh, I love you, Shaq.
Yes. Yes. Again, massive shout out to Shaq, who covered not only the UDU podcast, but also the Whine and Cheese show for one of those shows there too. So, and again, thank you to everybody that got involved.
We went late on this one. We're like, we're on to like over 2 hours now.
It's all good. And we haven't even got to all the other stuff. So I don't know. How much more Upland stuff have we got to wrap up?
That's it.
All right. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to discuss. Obviously, you said you wanted to pick my brain about about my trip and that night. I will say that as part of my trip, my young fella Keanu has been in my head. Dad, I want to do a show, this, that, and the other
Yes,
thing.
he's supposed to
We
do a show.
Yeah, he did, but he lost kind of interest in it. And obviously I'm not going to push him to do anything like that, but he has come up with his own little system.
Ooh.
Again, he's a 11-year-old kid, so maybe you'll forget about it and move on. But he wants to do a show that's basically called Keanu Talks.
All right.
And so that opens it up that he can talk about, he's very interested in gaming, the future, Web3, all of that sort of stuff. But it might be a platform where he can just rant and rave about anything he wants. Now, I know that you are somebody that appreciates background content about kind of anything. So it might be kind of that aspect. So, but he's also interested, like he would love to talk to you. So maybe it's like
As a gamer.
Keanu talks with Morecheese. So he flipped the switch and he would ask you questions. And that sort of stuff.
Like, because I have so many games I played that I could talk about. I could talk about my love of the Fallouts and why I like them so much. And like I played so much just within this last year, like of new games. Yeah, definitely. I want to be on his show.
Yeah, so keep your eyes and ears out for that. I think he's talked about maybe his first episode that he might do might be the top 5 things he did in Japan or something like that. So it might not always be might not always be fully, Web3 metaverse related, but we'll see how we go. Like I said, I'm not going to pressure him. I'll just support him however I can if he wants to dive into it. So,
I really like that. Now I'm really curious what his top 5 things were. See?
Right.
He's got a viewer already. I'm a fan. Yes. What were your top 5 things, Ben?
I don't know, top 5 things. I guess I can speak very broadly. Like one of the concerns I did have about going back to Japan after such a big gap between, like I lived in Japan for 2 years. Maya and I moved back to Australia for 3 years, but I didn't have Japan in my system. So when we moved back the first time, I suffered from reverse homesickness really badly. And I basically dragged Maya back to Japan for another 4 years. I was a bit concerned that going there again after such a gap, that kind of feeling might kick in again, but I can report that that's not the case at all. I definitely missed home a lot when I was over there, especially because our security camera system here in Australia, I can check my backyard, I can check my front yard, and I was looking at all the different things, and that was not a concern at all. I love Japan for many, many, many different reasons. I love Australia for many different reasons. I hate them both for many different reasons, but for the moment, at least, Australia is definitely home. So I can breathe a sigh of release that I don't have that worm niggling at me. Go back to live. So that's definitely not the case. Japan is just freaking awesome. You will read things about how clean it is, how friendly, how safe, but it's however much you think it is, it's like that times 10. Like it's just immaculate wherever you go. It's immaculate. Even out in the countryside, you don't see trash everywhere. People respect other people's space, their property. You do not get that in Australia. I know you don't get that in America unless you're in very.
It depends where you are.
areas.
Yeah, it depends where you are, definitely. But I see people are a lot better with that here in Arizona than they are in New York. Like you could be walking down a street in New York and somebody will be walking straight to you just to make you move out of their way. Whereas here, they'll move out of your way, smile and say, have a good day. So it's like, it's very like the US is huge. Like depending on where you go will definitely be different. But I would definitely like to visit Japan just to kind of see that politeness and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not all roses. Of course, there are frustrations that come with that. But yes, the transportation system for one, you can just go anywhere you want. It's even if you were somebody who didn't speak English, most of the signs are in English. You can get by very easily, even with no ability at all in Japanese. If you can understand some basic Japanese, even just katakana, you can deal with most restaurants and that sort of situation. So, the convenience is just out of control. The highway system there is so vastly superior to Australia. It's just not even funny. You can get anywhere you want. I will say it was a shock to the system to go back to driving in Japan, especially out in the countryside where my wife's family lives. Like the roads, my kids were just blown away. Like, hang on, this is for one car, right? I'm like, no, this is like a two-way street. And they're like, holy crap. So yeah.
That's how it was when I went to England in my mid-20s. Like I did like a I went to go see my gamer friends, and we took a drive all the way to Dorset, all the way to the east to see her family, more family, and Stonehenge. And the roads were so thin, and like we had to go over, but not too much, because then you'll fall into the
in the culverts or whatever. So yeah, that was part of it. I will say it was very obvious the bump in pricing there. Like it was also interesting too. A lot of the stuff that used to be widely available is no longer available, or is at extreme prices in regards to fishing. Like there seems to be a significant drop in fish stocks, whether that's through overfishing or I don't know, seasons or whatever. But a lot of the stuff that I used to buy, some of my favorites, were either no longer available in the supermarket or were crazy prices. But just in general, the prices have bumped up significantly for most things. I'd say at least 25, sometimes 30, 50% price increase. So that was interesting.
Do you think it was because of that nuclear facility getting damaged?
No, because we lived there. That all happened when we first moved back. You know, then we were there for 4 years after. So it's definitely seems to be an inflation sort of system. Yeah, that's a concern. Another thing was like the housing. We're a bit spoiled here. Like the house and property that we have as mortgage now in Australia, we could fit 8 Japanese family houses in this lot.
Wow.
Easily. So yeah, your typical house in Japan, it's the house on the land and that's it. Obviously there's exceptions to the rule, but yeah, when we were traveling in Osaka City and in the suburbs around Osaka City, you know, both of my wife and I were looking at it just going, wow, we can never live here. Like the houses are this far apart from each other, literally like this far apart.
That sounds like the Bronx.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was all of that side of aspect. Of course, it was great to catch up on family, like especially for my wife, hasn't seen her family for 9 years, so that was huge. It was awesome to see not Kira, my daughter, because she was 11 months old when we moved back, so she didn't remember any of Japan, but both Bodhi and Kiana, my boys, it was really cool for them to see something or hear something, and that would trigger a memory, and they would like, oh wow, I remember that. So that was really awesome. Aww. And of course, we went and did the touristy stuff. We went and visited the castles and the temples, and we went to Universal Studios to Japan for 2 days. That was just epic, like just
what kind of rides? Because Universal Studios is my favorite.
Yeah, the rides were cool. It was packed, as you can imagine, but it's so well organized that even when it's packed, it doesn't feel packed. Like you're not standing in a static line for 3 hours. The way they've set it up, you kind of, you might be in a line for a ride for an hour, but you're kind of constantly moving all the time. I don't know how they do it, but it's really good. The food quality at Universal Studios Japan, like, we went to the Mario themed restaurant, and it's a freaking restaurant. Like you sit down, knife and fork meal. It's not like most of the theme parks in Australia. Here's a shitty hamburger and some cold fries. That's like $28, something ridiculously priced, you know, really well priced, just beautiful quality. Customer service, like all across Japan, is just mind blowing. So yeah. There was a lot of positives, but yeah, overall it was heaps of fun, but I was very, very glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back too, Ben.
Yes.
This is fun. This is fun to do, but it you know, you get used to doing this with somebody, and it's like, you know, like my brother was gone. The hell.
Yeah, so no, it's overall, of course, it was an awesome experience, you know. Almost 3.5 weeks over there. We do plan on going back at least, hopefully, every other year
Yeah.
It'll be much
so-
shorter. It'll be 2 weeks or something like that. But the cost, my God, I wouldn't even like to tell you how much money we spent. It
Oh, I
was
can-
insane.
Yeah, I can imagine like with 3 kids, like
Oh, even just the
10,000
flights.
at least.
Well, even just the flight to get there and back was 6,000. So,
Yeah.
so it's pretty full on. Yeah. Yeah. So no, it was really good. But yeah, glad to be back and ready to get back into it because
Yeah.
my gosh, we got a lot of work to catch up.
We
on.
have a lot of work to do, Ben. Like an extreme amount of work. It's not even funny.
Yes, and like I said, and this is all before the Genesis Week announcement. So that's what I wanted to say. Do you still have that Q2 or whatever that Q1 website was that you just had that we just ran through? Do you still have that?
I exited out of it, so I didn't go
Okay,
back
that's
to
right.
it. Why?
That's right.
What's up?
There's an image. The image in that is Miles looking through what is it? A telescope?
Telescope?
Periscope?
Well, you think it's
Whatever.
the moon?
He's looking to the left. Now, is he on the what is it? Is he on the west coast of the US looking to the left at Asia? Or has the image been flipped and is he looking to the right to Europe? What's there? Genesis Week, there has to be a massive city announcement like we had last year where it was Rio. Are we thinking we're thinking Asia, we're thinking Europe? There's people talking about London, Paris. There's also
They
people
did
talking about
mention London.
Hong Kong, Tokyo, Korea, Seoul. Where's he looking?
Where is he
There we go.
looking?
He's on the shoreline. Look, I don't think this is a random image. He's on the shoreline.
The sun. Look at the sun. Is it setting or going? I think it's setting. Or is it coming up?
Oh, there you go. There's a lot to dive into there.
Oh, well, that could be our challenge. Where do you think he's looking?
Yes. Personally, I think he's looking to the left. Yeah, but if you go left, that's Asia. So I don't know. I would expect. I don't know. Now,
Or he's looking at Australia.
nah.
Well, the
He'd be
FIFA
looking down. He'd be looking at his feet. Yes. Yeah. Well, we know that's coming as part of the women's soccer thing. That's kind of an inevitability. I think this is going to be something that comes out of the blue. And we do know that Dirk has been gallivanting all across the globe. We've seen pictures of him talking to other soccer clubs and all that sort of stuff. I expect a new city release, a big, massive city release to be announced as part of Genesis Week. I expect there'll probably be another soccer partnership to expand that whole thing because currently we only have Porto, right? There's no other. Am I missing something? I think it's only Porto.
Yeah.
Or is there a Brazilian one that's official? I don't know. I expect there'll be a lot associated with that. What are your stretch goals? I'm thinking potentially a major manufacturer clothing brand, a major manufacturing car manufacturer. I wouldn't be surprised to see that come on board.
Ooh. Yeah.
I don't know. Any thoughts? What do you think the big announcements Genesis Week might be? STEM, yeah, because they have the species.io. Yep.
I'm really hoping for something on that, but anything they say really would be great by me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, STEM will be a big one because that's going to come with a completely new secondary token, which if they're going to do it like Spark, it's going to be USD only sales. So that's going to be interesting. There's going to be a wide range of meta ventures associated with that as well. So interesting. What are you DMing me?
Dinner.
Well, luckily we already done the front and back end. So yes.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yes. All right. So yeah, I think there's heaps of stuff on the way for Genesis Week.
Do you want to do that as a challenge? Where is he looking or what to expect from Genesis Week? We could do like up to 20K on a wheel. No more NFTs. I can't. I have no time.
Yeah, I got to really watch the budget on this too because I've just given away nearly 500,000 UPEX in the last month with all the different sponsorships too. So
true. Oh, we could do a Halloween sign.
A what?
A Halloween sign.
Yes. All right. That's easy to do.
Ah.
let us know. Well, we won't do one. Let's do 5. 5 Halloween signs. Look at that.
Wow.
That's a bit more of a decent carrot.
Ben is
So,
generous today.
Let us know where you think Miles is looking. What's he gazing at? Who knows? Maybe there's a nude beach down the road and he's been a pervert. Who knows? Well, what do you think?
Naked female llamas.
Yes. All males, we're not biased here. Whatever tickles your fancy. Let us know and we'll put you on a wheel for next week's show. Yeah, you can win 5 Halloween signs. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. So there you go.
I can't wait till you rewatch this and hear all the lisping. It's freaking hilarious. I think that's what made this show, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but I've changed.
Like, you're not doing it now. You're not doing it now. It just happens every so often.
Yeah, freaking great. Awesome. Love it. I'm going to buy another freaking headset now. All right, get us out of here. I got washing to do.
All right. Well, this was fun. Glad to have Ben back, and stay freshy, cheesy bags.
Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. You can let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You can let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. You can let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You can let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. 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 Time for wine and cheese.
Are you looking for some of that quality outdoor decor? But you got no freaking idea where to go? Oh, come on over to Samurai Aquatics and Decor for all your outdoor decor needs. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the Metaverse, do you? Yeah, just delete that. I'm still not ready, sorry. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the Metaverse, do you? Or maybe some kind of crappy ramshackle building that, I don't know, needs a bit of extra spunk to it or something. And stop mucking about and get yourself over to Samurai Aquatics Discord to see all our available stock. We've got loads of different decor to spend your pretend money on. We've got saunas to fire you up, and ice baths to chew you the fudge out. Literally stock coming out of our ears. Grills, swings, seating, and more. So much more. And if we don't got it, give us a buzz, and we could probably make it. Get yourself on over to Samurai Aquatics at 30 Aqua Vista Way in Midtown Terrace, San Francisco, lickety split, and gorge yourself on outdoor decor.